Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California weather-wise. Today is December 3rd, and right now we are taking a look at the infrared satellite imagery. Check out our force field protecting the west coast of North America. This ridge of high pressure, keeping systems at bay for the short term anyway. And then we take a look at some of this high clouds here moving across the area. That may be helping to inhibit some of the fog development there. It didn't look too bad this morning, but that's going to be a recurring theme here over the next couple of days. So we're going to dive into the extended forecast and see when this pattern may be breaking. We'll take a look at that here as we go through the video this morning. And looking out there across some of the valley areas, you can see some areas of fog, but not too extensive really overall speaking. And again, I'm hoping that some of these mid and high level clouds moving across the area, we're helping out with that. You can see some stratus layer across some of the coastal regions as well. No storm reports to speak of. Of course, we're very quiet right now, so that is the reason for that. Sacramento, fog safety, use your low beams, increase your following distance. You guys know the drill. Beach hazards, we do have some minor tidal overflow associated with this warning along the coastal areas. That does go up towards Newport Beach, Southern California, Los Angeles, and down towards San Diego as well. So heads up for that. Click on NOAA if you need to know more on that one. Now, taking a look at what is going on here, this is the 12Z GFS, hot off the presses. California is to the far right. Japan is to the far left. Pacific Ocean, dead center. There's the Hawaiian Islands. And at 39,000 feet, you can see this jet stream persistently strong out here across the Western Pacific. So it leads to some troughing out here and some ridging downstream that the West Coast has been in favor of over the last few days. And this pattern is probably going to continue here as we go on in towards next week. But if we scroll out far enough, you can kind of see some of this pattern change coming. Here we go. We start to bring some troughs in here, but this you got to caution. Got to use caution with this because this is looking 10 days out, but eventually this pattern will break, and then you can see some interesting development here across the west coast of North America as we go off through the extended forecast. But kind of grasping at straws there, looking way off into the extended forecast. If I play that through, you can again see the persistent jet stream to the left of the picture there, troughing out over the Pacific, and then in turn some downstream ridging. But that does look like it may change here upcoming over the next week to 2 week period. If we look at the Madden-Julian oscillation, so if you want to know more about this, go ahead and Google Madden-Julian oscillation. They just put out this new forecast. And outside of the circle, the Madden-Julian oscillation is active. This is a tropical convection that propagates around the planet on about a 30 to 60 degree time frame. And as that moves across the planet, it changes the Rossby waves in the jet stream, and it brings stormy conditions towards the west coast of North America, but it also brings some ridging and whatnot as well. And it can team up with La Nina or El Nino, depending on which ENSO state you are currently in. So right now, we are right here. We're in phase 4 and phase 5, and we may stall out right there in phase 5 or 6 in the active phase of the Madden-Julian oscillation. So we're waiting for this pattern to break, and we're waiting for some of that tropical convection to move across the Pacific and try to switch things up here, for much of California. And in the meantime, I do want to show this before I show you the extended European. The relative humidity, you can kind of see the valley areas there, the San Joaquin Valley and the Sacramento Valley, how this inversion is going on. So we have that risk of fog as we go through the next few days. If I scroll through that pretty quick, you can kind of see the morning hours there with the higher relative humidities and the drier air out across some of the desert areas. So that's why we have that fog chance. And again, kind of light winds, kind of offshore a little bit here, but not much to write home about. And that's why we have a lot of the stagnant air in some of the lower elevations. No storms around right now. Daily 2-meter max temperature. Let's scroll through this again before we look at the extended European model. We may cool down a little bit here as we go through the following week upcoming there, but you can see it's not too bad. It's still relatively comfortable out there. And the low temperatures, we're not looking at any big cold air outbreaks or huge warm-ups coming up here over the next several days or so. Now let's take a look at the European. This one is running hot off the presses, running as we speak, the 12Z run. So if we put this into motion, we finally get some systems trying to make their way into the Pacific Northwest. This one could clip portions of Northern California as we go through this weekend, but it's not much. And this ends up being somewhat of an inside slider. It does try to bring some cooler air here. Again, moisture starved. It could end up bringing some snowfall here for some of the mountainous areas of California and Nevada. We'll watch that one over the next few days, but you can see it's not much. It doesn't have much moisture to work with. And then we extend on into the extended forecast, and you can see kind of an atmospheric river into the Pacific Northwest, and that one tries to get down in towards California here, and then we'll see what happens in the future, because you can see maybe some systems start to develop here, and we finally change things up here as we go to the mid portion of December. No promises here, but that's a pretty dynamic storm system affecting much of the state of California. We'll see how that works out. We'll see what the next model run brings, and we'll try to get some consistency before we get excited about that extended forecast at all. And if we look at the GFS, total precipitation in inches, this is the 12Z run. I just showed you the European, and you notice how it had that nice system out there through the extended. And if I scroll far enough out in the GFS, you can also see that pattern change emerging there as well, which does start to finally bring some precipitation back into the state of California. So we do have that little bit of model agreement through the extended forecast, but still, it's purely a fantasy forecast at this stage. And here's the GFS. One more look at things at 18,000 feet. You can see the propensity for the ridging. There's a couple inside sliders here as we go through December 10th. And then finally, maybe we start to change that pattern up. Again, we'll be watching that as we go for the next few days. 6 to 10 days should be no surprise there. Some above average, below normal precipitation, above average yet again, and still that below normal, but the pattern change potentially coming during this time frame. So we'll continue to watch that. But anyway, we'll break this all down again tomorrow. I am getting a little bit curious about that pattern change off in the extended forecast, and we will continue to break that down and revisit that again tomorrow and each day thereafter. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.